Alright, so we're finally ready to start working on the engine. We got this dozer here. We're going to have to take the track frames off so that we can pull the sprocket and switch it with the other sprockets, but we're not going to do that right now. We're going to take this engine apart, and we think all we're going to need is a sleeve and a piston, which we'll probably pull out of the other engine, but we're going to take it apart and just inspect everything. So first thing, we're going to pull off this clutch housing. So all these bolts are around here, and then we're going to stand it up on end, and that way we can take it apart, because we can't put this on like an engine stand. It's way too heavy. This is probably going to be very, very heavy. And there's oil in it. Well, the oil does run through here, which I probably should have suspected because there's an oil fill right here.
Maybe it gets separate oil.
Well, there's a lot of oil on the floor. Do you have like mats or anything like that?
I got a sheet loaded.
Lift it up, and this thing weighs more than my house.
Good. You already got?
I don't know. I'm afraid this engine stand is going to fold in half.
I just go for it.
And it keeps doing that. It's not happy. This thing's not running. It's like going this way once. By the way, that cover's probably really heavy. So
Yeah, I'm just trying to get
don't drop it on yourself.
Yes.
Well, you filled up the pan. This is definitely how you're supposed to do it.
Yep.
Put them handle instead of big now.
Might have to pull the clutch one way or the other. Somehow.
Is this supposed to come out?
Probably.
Although, that'll probably be easier now. Yep, we're supposed to take that out.
Yep.
Hope we didn't screw anything up by setting it on it.
No, here, grip this.
Set it outside.
Yeah.
Probably should put your boots on. Well, we tried cleaning up the mess a little bit. We gotta take the pressure plate off the flywheel so then we can maybe stand it up. I don't know.
I think this engine has a few hours on it. So we'll see if the liner's still good. Maybe somebody already replaced the liners once.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
I don't know. I think I can get it. Yep. It's heavy.
There might be a head steel probably comes out too.
It does.
Try to stack them the same orientation.
Another? Or is that it?
Can't tell. I think that's just the flywheel.
Yeah, that's just the We got 2 dowels in there that we need to take out before we can flip it up on end.
I'm hungover.
I don't think this is gonna happen, Tom. Why don't we just put it up on wood so the dowels don't matter? Yeah. Set it on 2x4s. We should probably roll the engine hoist forward as we go if we can.
Yeah. The engine's gonna flop back probably once you get over center.
Yeah. But we'll just let the hoist go with it. Right? Don't
Yeah.
stand.
Yeah. But it'd be nice to catch it with
Well, don't have your leg in front of this because it'll shoot forward.
Yeah, we're pretty close. We can get some boards lined up for where the flange is gonna hit so it doesn't snap back onto that. Gotta get a hand on that injection pump because it might want to twist.
Problem here is you're pushing. I can't stop it from twisting. Okay. Let off.
Hello?
We're up.
Yeah, we're on the thing.
Well, lifting it more is not going to help that.
We get back out of this oil spill.
Have to get more wood. Let's just pull it over here.
That's what I'm doing to get it out of the oil slick.
Yeah, I'll just pull it like this and then we can clean the mess. Can we fit them higher?
I mean, you're good.
Good.
Need one more for the back.
So this is like a whole, we gotta take this big plate off.
Yeah.
I think it's just those bolts. You wanna take these out first?
Yeah. Might be able to get both ways put in here if needed.
Yeah, no problem. It's just because the head was like tapered. All right, so it turns out there's this plate under the oil pan that it's got to be the intended way to take it off is to slide it this way, but we can't do that because we got that bell housing still on there. So now we got to take off the oil pickup. This one
You're kidding.
goes all the way to Texas. There we go, finally. A little crusty, but not too bad. Yeah. Crank's got some rust on it. We definitely need it.
Want to see if we can clean that.
We definitely want to clean it out of there, yeah.
Counter shaft is also a little rusty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to take the crank out.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Yeah, I don't want to either.
I would like to not do that.
Tell me that idea.
We can, I mean, we'll just take the caps off and look at them. Really? Yep.
Yep.
Well, hopefully that just means that the bearings are nice and tight.
I mean, that's probably just the pistons, man.
There's so many people commenting on YouTube. Just put the head back on and run it.
I mean, you can. You
like-
have a destroyed motor after a year.
It's not that hard to change the sleeve. Really, it would. I mean, we could have did it right on the tractor there. The rear end was blown up. I wonder if you could just put a block on it and tap. Alright, that ain't good. We're gonna have to pull the crank.
No, I think we can probably polish it in there. It doesn't, I mean, it looks like the bearing material transferred onto the crank. So
Okay.
hopefully we can polish that off. We're just gonna want to pull all the caps.
Turn the
Yeah.
engine to push it up.
Yep.
Did you leave something in here? I'm getting a hard stop.
That's the piston. The other one's probably spin fine. That one's just nasty.
I must have hit the spot in the...
That's good.
You're doing nothing.
Take a hammer. Is it coming at all?
It's coming. Let's keep... You know, it'd be real nice if the whole sleeve came out. It's not doing that. It stopped. It moved. There you go, you're good now. You gotta hit it. No. You have something longer?
Yeah, right. And we might just be able to use the whole hammer.
Yeah, that's working. There you go. That's the way to do it.
Jeez. And also the rings are, they're not moving in the groove. Because it's supposed to swing out.
Yeah.
Oh, look at his keepers.
They are keepers. Alright.
At least you're probably supposed to. Yeah, it's flipping the rocks. Yeah, it's a tight fit.
It looks like it's ground to fit.
Yeah.
It's like...
It is labeled too.
Yeah, and this little notch here goes that side.
Yeah. Notch.
Yep. Alright, so we're just about to take the oil pump off. There's a bunch of marks on both gears. And we have A lined up with A. And then the counter shafts are pointed with the flats up. And both of them are angled, the flats a little bit, tiny bit out. So like up and out a little bit. So that's where it's got to be when we put it back together. So we probably should have pulled this pump off first instead of taking pieces off of it. Feels loose. I don't think it's a ½ inch, but there we go. This pump's probably gonna weigh 1,000,000 pounds, just like everything on this engine. Alright, we got the oil pump off. We're about to take off the main caps. Unfortunately, all the rods look pretty bad in the bearings. None of them spun, which is good. But the bearings are shot. So we pulled all 4 pistons, and we're gonna measure everything, measure bores, make sure everything's good. And here's what the rod journals look like. You can see that one's got some material. Hopefully it's just material, bearing material wiped off of these onto the crank, and we can just polish it back off. We do not want to have to pull this crank. This one's the worst. That's number 3. Number 1 is basically perfect, and I'm not sure about number 4. But we're gonna pull the mains and see what they look like. Apparently these engines are a little bit notorious for having bearing issues. Yeah, that looks pretty bad. There's like rusty oil in them. The grooves. It looks like we probably caught it in time. There's not really any pitting on the crank. So we might be alright. At least with that one anyway. Alright, so we got to the point where we got all the rod caps off and we got all the pistons out. I got one of the main caps off. And I'm going to end the video here because we're going to have to go through and measure everything. Tom's got to pick up some stuff from work to do that. We don't have all the measuring tools here. So we'll get everything measured and then figure out what we got. Most likely we're going to replace one piston and one sleeve because we know that those are bad. As long as all the other sleeves are good and the pistons are good, as long as they measure out within spec, we're just going to put them back in, but we'll have to measure them and see. And this crank, as long as this crank measures good, we're not going to do anything to it. We're just going to measure it and make sure that it's measuring out within spec, and as long as it is, then we're just going to put new bearings in and put everything back together. One thing that we do have to do is clean this rust out of here. You can see there's a lot of rust just in the engine, and that's to be expected because this engine got filled with water. It's all just surface rust, but we have to get it cleaned out of there before we put the engine back together, or that rust will mess up all of our bearings and everything that we just put in it. So we got to make sure we get it really clean, and we're going to try to do that without taking it apart any further than we already have it. We'll see how that goes. But that's the plan right now. So get everything measured, make sure we're within spec. As long as we are, we're throwing one piston and one liner at it and bearings. And then just put it back together and we'll put it in the machine.